my lovelies, how's it going? So today we are doing our very first thrift, ow, that's really hot. We are doing our very first thrift store makeover of the channel, which I'm really excited about. Now, just to address the elephant in the room here, I do know that no one in the UK actually calls it a thrift store. We call them charity shops, but no one on YouTube calls them that. So thrift store it is. So if you were watching a couple of weeks ago, you might remember this cauldron shaped wax burner from my studio organise and autumn haul video. I actually picked it up from a thrift store a few years ago, and I very quickly realised why it had been donated. The candle sits way too close to the cauldron, making the wax so hot that it actually makes it smoke. It looks undeniably cool, but is it healthy to breathe that in? Probably not. So rather than ditch it, I thought, let's repurpose it. And the moment that I dug it out of that bag of decorations, I knew exactly who this cauldron would be perfect for. If I sculpted Bellatrix, I wouldn't have to make a cauldron. I could use this. So who is Bellatrix? Well, if you've been here for a while, you may know that she is one of my original characters from the Draw Stuff Outside prompt book. She is one of the 50 creative critters that you can collect on your adventures. And you guys actually voted for her as your favourite of all of the characters. She is a magical little axolotl who is always brewing mysterious potions in her cauldron, adding lots of forest treasures like pine cones. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the hook part. Maybe hang lots of tiny bananas on it. I don't know. If you have any ideas, do let me know. So first off, I needed to fill that cauldron with potion, but I didn't want to use solid clay for this, as I knew that that would take ages to dry since it can only dry from like the top. So I packed it with some tin foil first. Once the base was ready, I grabbed my air dry clay. Then as soon as I opened this new pack, I remembered that I actually already have one open in the drawer. Oops! Luckily, I did end up needing that fresh one later, so it wasn't a total disaster. The older pack was a little sweaty, but after a bit of conditioning, it was good to go. I pressed it down over the tin foil and smoothed it into the cauldron. Then I did realise that in the original drawing, the bubbles are actually kind of visible over the rim of the cauldron. So I really underestimated the amount of tin foil that I actually needed and ended up using a lot more clay than I wanted to. But it's fine. It's only like a 1 centimetre overuse of clay. Worse things have happened. Next, I made a tiny spoon to sit in the potion. I twisted a piece of wire for the handle, as that texture really helps the clay grip so much better. My first attempt failed miserably. When I tried to push it into the cauldron, it just completely lost its shape and turned into a sad, smushed blob. But after a bit of adjusting, and of course forgetting to hit record in the process, it magically looks fine again. Now it was time to add those bubbles. For this, I poked rounded indents into the surface. If you've got a phobia of tiny holes, look away now. I'm really sorry. This is not a great moment for you. Don't worry though, I soon filled them with small clay balls for the bubbles. But the more I added, for some reason, the more they looked like a pile of pebbles. So I added a bit of water and smoothed the gaps between them to blend it all together. It's still not perfect, but I think it's definitely better than before. You'll have to let me know if you have a more efficient way of replicating bubbles with clay. I'm definitely still learning and experimenting as I go. Now the sun comes out. Next, I moved on to sculpting Bellatrix's head. Her design is quite simplified. I'd perhaps describe it as kind of anthropomorphic kawaii. Then came her head fins, or whatever they're called. Actually, hang on, let's Google it. Oh, apparently they are external gills. Feathery, branch-like organs that help axolotls breathe underwater. Technically, they are called gill stalks or rami, covered in delicate filaments called fimbriae. That's too many vowels. So I have no idea how you say that. Once I'd made 6 similar sized pieces, I used some wire to attach them to her head. That part was incredibly fiddly. The wire seemed to have a mind of its own and would either poke fully into the head or fully into the gill, rather than like halfway through each. Ugh. That was Etsy. Oh my gosh, Shelby just ordered a mug. Thank you. That makes such a loud noise. My coffee was nearly on the floor. Okay, this seems like the perfect opportunity for a shameless plug. I have just launched some brand new Halloween themed Penelope and pumpkin merch. We've got mugs and we've got t-shirts available in a variety of colours. I only just finished the designs and ordered mine yesterday as well. So I am still waiting for them to arrive. Hopefully I'll be able to show you them in person next week. In the meantime, here's some people I do not know modelling them beautifully for you. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has bought a book from Amazon or a gift from my Etsy store. I also want to say a massive thank you to all of you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I know you can only hype so many videos a day as well, and you've been hitting that hype, which is so generous and kind. And I just wanted to share, it's just like a helicopter going past. Hang on. Okay, and I just wanted to share that I got some absolutely awesome news from YouTube this week, that my videos are now monetized. Of course, it's only like pence at this stage, but it means that I'll be able to eventually reinvest that into more art supplies and filming equipment, maybe even reduce my hours of cleaning one day so I can spend even more time making better quality videos. And you guys are making all of that possible by putting up with me week after week. You're amazing. I love you. Mwah. Okay, enough of that soppy stuff. Back to sculpting Bellatrix. After attaching those gills, her head looked so much like some kind of bug. Of course it had to do a little walk across the desk. Once I'd had my fun, I got to work on the body. I did try using some tin foil again, but honestly, it just made the shape way too rigid. So I ditched that, started over, and sculpted it just from clay instead. The cauldron was even more top heavy now with that bubbly clay on top. So over it goes again, and again. Good thing it wasn't a real potion. Actually, I wonder what Bellatrix is brewing in that cauldron. Maybe a good luck potion? A healing potion? Something more mischievous? Or maybe it's just a nice cozy pumpkin soup. What do you reckon she's got bubbling away in there? When I sculpted her limbs, I first tried making them from the same piece of clay as the body, but I wasn't happy with that. So I remade everything separately and attached them one by one with some more of that wire. I blended everything together using water and sculpting tools. And yes, that's my nose. Do you guys work on your art like 3 inches away from your face as well? Or is it just me? I posed one of her arms upwards, ready to toss a pine cone into that potion. I found that the clay behaved much better than last time. I think because of this cooler weather. The last time that I used it for my woodland animal keychains, it was drying out way too fast in that summer heat. When I placed her next to the cauldron, that was when I realised that that handle is kind of in the way. There wasn't a whole lot that I could do about that. If I tried to break it off, it could have broken the whole cauldron. So I also realised that I'd made her just a little bit too short. So I made her her very own little rock step to stand on. Perfect. Now she won't need to throw that pine cone like a basketball into a hoop. Then it was time to make the pine cone. First, I tried adding lots of little indents all the way around. Nope. Then I tried a more triangular shaped tool. Also nope. I tried making all of the little segments separately and sticking them together, almost like building a rose. I feel like that might have worked on a bigger scale, but this was way too small and fiddly. So nope again. I was really struggling with this one. Eventually, I went back to the triangular holes technique, but just did fewer of them this time. And at that point, I just thought, do you know what? It'll do. So I just stuck it on and moved on to the next thing. An apple. I rolled a ball and added some indents on the top and the bottom, making the base a little narrower, and then started shaping the stem and the leaf. It did take a few attempts, but eventually we had a somewhat acceptable apple. Next up was the acorn. I started with a small oval. I don't know what the word is for a 3-dimensional oval. Added a textured cap, and there it was, a happy little acorn in his little acorn hat. The last thing I needed was a flower. And voila, one little flower ready to be positioned in front of the cauldron with the other forest items. But looking at that pine cone again, I still wasn't happy with it. So I tried adding more of those little scales over the top of the holes. Unfortunately, the more that I did that, the more it started looking like an artichoke. Which I mean is fair, they're kind of similar shapes. But this was supposed to be a pine cone, not a salad ingredient. So I started poking at it again, trying to revive it. But you know when you've just hit that point of frustration where you're just like, please just turn into a pine cone already. Okay, you've probably never thought that exact phrase. That's probably just me. Eventually I gave up and I decided it would just have to do. Maybe a decent paint job might fix it. Here's hoping. I left her to dry for a couple of days and filled in any cracks that appeared with a bit of extra clay. I did notice that she is slightly leaning to one side, so I added a little clay to the base of her rock to straighten her up a bit. I gave her a quick coat of Mod Podge, as this helps make the whole thing a bit stronger and also acts as a kind of smoothing primer on that powdery absorbent surface. Of course, her illustration is only in black and white, so I did just have to wing it with the colours. Of course, I could have planned it out, but I was feeling spontaneous. I used a combination of acrylic paints and acrylic markers. I shall link everything I've used today in the description if you want to give any of this a go. Now, let's make the rest of this painting process a spooky musical time-lapse. If I can find fitting spooky music in the YouTube library. If not, it might not be spooky. We'll see. That is cold. And that is it. She's all painted. I did think about gluing the pieces together, but I decided to keep them separate. I do quite like having the different options for displaying her on a shelf, especially since the shelves that I've got in here are quite small. I don't think that she would fit if she were glued together. She might fit over there. She is a little rough around the edges and her pine cone is questionable. But overall, I am really pleased with how she's turned out. She's totally cute, spooky, and unique, and the kind of useless thrift shop cauldron has had a new lease of life, brewing all sorts of mysterious woodland potions and stews. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit all of those buttons. Thank you for watching, my lovelies, and I shall see you next week. Bye! Oh, just a little pebble.